What if Marcus Aurelius himself could explain love beyond numbers? Character did. This story begins not with romance, but with understanding. In a world that counts birthdays and judges connections, there lived a woman who had seen many seasons of life and a man who was still learning its rhythms. They met not through desire, but through conversation. She carried silence like strength. He carried questions like light. People noticed the difference in years before they noticed the similarity in values. But Marcus Aurelius taught that we suffer more from opinions than from reality, and this truth lived quietly between them. She had learned patience through loss, work, and self-reflection. He had learned courage through curiosity, risk, and honesty. When they spoke, there was no hurry. Their words were simple, calm, and real. She did not try to control him. He did not try to impress her. This balance was rare. Age did not stand between them. Ego did not sit among them. Marcus Aurelius wrote that the soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts, and their thoughts were clear, respectful, and grounded. She had spent years building herself after life tested her. He had spent years searching for meaning beyond noise. Together, they did not escape life. They faced it with clarity. Society whispered judgments, but Marcus Aurelius warned that the opinion of others is outside our control. What mattered was how they treated each other when no one was watching. She listened without fixing. He spoke without fear. She guided without commanding. He followed without losing himself. This was not a story of an older woman teaching a younger man how to live, nor of a younger man reviving an older woman's youth. It was a story of two adults meeting at the same level of awareness, just from different paths. He admired her calm during chaos. She respected his honesty during confusion. Marcus Aurelius believed that everything happens according to nature, and nothing truly meant for us arrives too early or too late. Their connection felt natural, not forced. There was no rush to label, no pressure to explain. They walked, talked, shared meals, and exchanged thoughts about fear, purpose, discipline, and freedom. She had learned that attachment brings suffering when rooted in control. He had learned that love without respect is empty. Together, they practiced presence. Age became irrelevant because time was not what connected them. Values did, character did, stillness did. When doubt appeared, they returned to reason. Marcus Aurelius advised to ask, "Is this essential?" Their bond was not built on fantasy but on daily behavior. How they showed up, how they handled silence, how they respected boundaries. The world often confuses attraction with meaning, but they were slow to touch, slow to promise, slow to define. This slowness protected truth. She knew herself well enough not to need validation. He knew himself well enough not to seek approval. This made them equal. The younger man did not feel smaller beside her wisdom. He felt stronger. The older woman did not feel threatened by his energy. She felt alive in a calm way. Marcus Aurelius said that true power is control over the self, not over others. Their relationship reflected this idea deeply. No manipulation, no fear games, no emotional chaos, just mutual respect and shared growth. They challenged each other gently. She challenged his impatience. He challenged her self-doubt. Both listened. Both adjusted. Love, in this sense, was not dramatic. It was steady. People expected imbalance, but what they saw was harmony. People expected dependency, but what existed was independence side by side. Marcus Aurelius reminded us that if something is right, it does not need applause. Their connection did not seek attention. It simply existed. They did not argue about age because age had already lost its power. Time had shaped them differently, but values had aligned them perfectly. This is where the story truly begins, not with romance, but with reason. With two minds choosing peace over noise, depth over image, and truth over fear, and this choice would soon test them in ways they did not yet expect. As time passed, the outside world grew louder, but their inner world grew quieter. This is where the real test began. Marcus Aurelius said that the happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts, and both of them understood this deeply. They knew that love would not be protected by emotions alone, but by discipline. The older woman had already faced judgment before in life. She knew how quickly people form opinions without understanding truth. The younger man was experiencing this pressure for the first time. Friends questioned his choices. They asked what he saw in her, what future he imagined, what he was risking. Instead of reacting, he remembered what she had shown him through actions, not lectures. Respond with reason, not emotion. He did not defend their connection loudly. He lived it quietly. Marcus Aurelius taught that the best revenge is not to be like your enemy. And the younger man refused to become bitter or defensive. He stayed respectful, calm, and grounded. The older woman noticed this change. She saw how he paused before speaking, how he chose honesty over impulse. She did not feel responsible for shaping him, but she felt proud witnessing his growth. At the same time, she faced her own internal questions. Was she holding him back? Would time eventually separate them? Marcus Aurelius warned against suffering imagined troubles, and she worked hard not to borrow pain from the future. She reminded herself to stay present. Today they were aligned. Today they were kind. Today they were real. That was enough. Their days were simple. Conversations in the evening, long walks, shared silence that did not feel empty. He brought curiosity. She brought perspective. When conflict appeared, they did not fight to win. They paused to understand. This was different from both of their past experiences. The younger man had known passion without direction before. The older woman had known stability without depth. Together they created balance. Marcus Aurelius believed that we should not waste time arguing about what a good person should be, but be one. Their bond was built on this principle. They showed care through consistency, not grand gestures. She respected his need to explore the world. He respected her need for peace. Neither tried to own the other. This freedom strengthened trust. Still, society continued to test them. Strangers stared. Comments were made. Some subtle, some direct. The younger man learned something important during this time. He realized that strength is not loud confidence, but quiet certainty. He did not need to prove anything. The older woman learned something too. She realized that love does not always arrive in the expected form. Marcus Aurelius wrote that nature often hides wisdom in unlikely places. She stopped comparing this connection to past timelines or expectations. She allowed it to exist as it was. They spoke openly about fears. He admitted his fear of being underestimated. She admitted her fear of being judged as selfish. These conversations did not weaken them. They strengthened them. Honesty became their anchor. Marcus Aurelius said that the soul becomes stronger when tested by truth. Slowly they stopped seeing themselves as older and younger. They saw themselves as partners navigating life with different tools but the same direction. Growth became mutual. He learned patience. She learned flexibility. He learned that not every problem needs immediate action. She learned that not every risk leads to loss. Their connection matured without pressure. Love, in their world, was not about ownership or future guarantees. It was about how they showed up daily. When challenges came, they asked one question inspired by Marcus Aurelius. What is within our control right now? The answer was always the same: their behavior, their respect, their presence. And so they chose to protect those things, even when the world around them did not understand. This quiet strength would soon face a deeper challenge, one that would force both of them to confront their fears honestly and decide what kind of courage they were truly capable of. The deeper challenge arrived not as conflict between them, but as a moment of truth within each of them. Marcus Aurelius said that if you are distressed by anything external, the pain is not due to the thing itself, but to your estimate of it. This idea became real for both of them. The younger man was offered an opportunity that could change his future, a new path, new responsibilities, and a world that demanded more of his time and energy. It was growth, but it also meant uncertainty. He wondered if choosing this path meant choosing distance, not distance of space, but distance of understanding. The older woman felt the shift before he spoke. She had learned over the years to sense change without fear. When he finally shared his thoughts, she listened without interruption. She did not advise. She did not warn. She simply asked him to be honest with himself. Marcus Aurelius believed that no role is given to us without the strength to play it well. This moment was his role. He realized something important. Love, for him, was not about staying comfortable, it was about staying true. He did not want to shrink his future, but he also did not want to abandon his values. The older woman faced her own test. She could have asked him to slow down, to choose safety, to protect what they had. But she remembered another Stoic truth. We do not own people, only moments. Holding too tightly would turn love into fear. She chose trust instead. They spoke openly, calmly, and without drama. There were no promises made out of pressure. There were no ultimatums, just clarity. They agreed that growth should never require dishonesty. They agreed that if their connection was real, it would adapt, not break. Marcus Aurelius wrote that fire burns brighter when it has room to breathe. They gave each other that room. Time passed. Distance appeared in small ways, then larger ones. Less time together, more individual challenges, but something surprising happened. Their respect did not weaken. It deepened. The younger man faced the world with more responsibility, but he carried her calm within him. The older woman faced solitude at times, but she carried his courage within her. They did not cling to daily reassurance. They trusted the foundation they had built. When they reunited, conversations felt richer, not strained. Silence still felt safe. Marcus Aurelius taught that what is truly yours will not demand anxiety to remain. This belief kept them steady. They stopped measuring love by frequency and started measuring it by quality. They accepted that not all meaningful connections follow traditional shapes. Some exist to teach, to strengthen, to awaken. Whether permanent or temporary, their bond had already fulfilled its purpose. It had refined them, made them calmer, more honest, more disciplined. In the end, age never decided their worth. Time never defined their depth. What mattered was character meeting character, reason guiding emotion, and two people choosing virtue over fear. Marcus Aurelius reminded us that a good life is one built on understanding what truly matters. For them, what mattered was not how long the road was, but how truthfully they walked it together. Marcus Aurelius believed that what we give attention to shapes our character. If you choose to give attention to wisdom, reflection, and meaningful stories, you are already walking a stronger path. If this video aligned with your values, support it. Like the video to encourage content that prioritizes thought over noise. Share it with those who appreciate quiet strength. And subscribe to stay connected with stories that explore life, love, and discipline through a deeper lens. Together, we can build a space where wisdom still has a voice.